Subclasses. Archfey, Celestial Fiend, and Great Old One. Okay, so they are giving us Celestial. Cool. Which one did we get last time? I think Archfey, right? Oh no, Fiend. We got Fiend. Okay. So Archfey is completely based off of the 2014. So you get a Power of Feywild. Yay. Okay, so formerly called Patron Spells, formerly called Expanded Spell List, now lets you have its spells always prepared, includes Misty Step. Okay, thank God. I'm gonna tell you why this is a thank God for me. For so long, I have thought that Warlocks had a spell list the same way that it worked with like Cleric and Paladin, and I think Sorcerer, where the spells on their expanded spell list were always prepared. But I was mistaken, and a buddy of mine told me about this, that actually it's just like, oh no, you can pick these spells. You don't always have them prepared. Which I was like, why is this different for Warlock all of a sudden? But yeah, so apparently now they changed it. So thank God. This is what I'm talking about. Consistency. Step of the Fae. Fae Presence. That gives you the Misty Step spell and ways to modify it. Are we just putting Eladrin into Warlock now? Is that what we're doing? Okay. Misty Escape. Is this just a Misty Step subclass now? Is that what we're saying? Is that what this is now? We're just turning this into Misty Step the class. Or what? And then Beguiling Defenses now reacts to you taking damage, and Bewitching Magic allows you to cast Misty Step. Okay. Sure. Patron spells. So what do you get? I'm actually curious. What do you get? So Calm Emotions, Fairy Fire, Misty Step, Phantasmal Force, Sleep. Used to be Fairy Fire, Sleep. Blink and... Oh no, sorry. Used to be... Because, yeah, I have to look at first and second level spells. So Fairy Fire, Sleep, Calm Emotions, Phantasmal Force. So they just added Misty Step as a 5th spell here. Because they want you to have Misty Step in this class because apparently it's required. God. Blink and Blind Growth, Dominate Beast, Greater Invisibility, Dominate Person Seeming. Okay. Then, Steps of the Fae. Your patron bestows on you the ability to move between the boundaries of the planes. You can cast Misty Step without expending a spell slot a number of times equal to your Charisma modifier. Regain all uses when you finish a long rest. In addition, whenever you cast a spell, you can choose one of the following additional effects. Immediately after you teleport, one creature you can see within 10 feet gains a d10 temporary hit points. Creatures within 5 feet of the space you left must succeed on a wisdom saving throw. Against your spell save DC, you have disadvantage on attack rolls against creatures other than you until the start of your next turn. So, they very clearly took inspiration from the Eladrin here, because that's the entire Eladrin shtick. And they just put it on Archfey. Sure. Misty Escape. You can cast Misty Step as a reaction in response to taking damage. Misty Escape used to be, when you take damage, you can use your reaction to turn invisible and teleport up to 60 feet. You remain invisible until the start of your next turn. So now it's, you cast Misty Step as a reaction, which means it drops down to 30 feet, I think. And you have the invisible condition until the start of your next turn, or until immediately after you make an attack roll or cast a spell. God. Okay. Oh, sorry. Dreadful Step. Creatures within 5 feet of your space you left, or the space you appear in, must succeed on a wisdom save, or take 2d10 psychic damage. But they're just additional options Like disappearing step and dreadful steps are now just additional options in addition to refreshing step and taunting step. Okay, sure. And then beguiling defenses. Your patron teaches you how to guard your mind and body, immune to charmed. Okay. I think that was always a thing. In addition, immediately after a creature you can see hits you with an attack roll, you can use your reaction to reduce the damage you take by half. Force the attacker to make a wisdom saving throw against your spell. On a saved fail. Yes. Failed save, the attacker takes psychic damage equal to the damage you take. So pretty much the two of you take halfsies. Yeah. So it used to be they were charmed, now they just take the damage back. Okay. And you're still immune to charm. I think this is probably better. Charm in and of itself was never really a good condition. It was just like charmed and you have to listen to someone's commands that made it good. And then bewitching magic. Your patron bestows you with the ability to weave your magic with teleportation. Immediately after you cast an enchantment or illusion spell, using an action in the spell slot, you can cast Misty Step as part of the same action and without expending a spell slot. So yeah, so I'm assuming this also doesn't go against your uses from Steps of the Fae. Pretty much you get to teleport. It's very clear that they took inspiration from the Eladrin ancestry, right? It's literally like Misty Step the class. Do I mind that? No. But that's mostly because I've never really been a fan of Archfey anyway. I always found Archfey kind of just like weak in and of its own thing. Maybe that's just me. I was just never really a fan of like, you have Fey Presence, I guess. Fey Presence is pretty good, but maybe it's just because I've seen it played so little. Usually if you have like a Warlock, it's either a Hexblade or a Fiend. Maybe, well, Shiloh now is an Undead, I guess, but so yeah. I kind of want to call this video Misty Step the Pact, but I don't know. Or Misty Step the Patron. But yeah. Celestial. Okay, I'm gonna need to look up Celestial because I have played Celestial very little, if I'm being perfectly honest. So yeah, so the patron spells got changed. Celestial Resilience now works with Magical Cunning, which is the 1 minute get back a spell slot thing. Oh, those are the changes? Really? That's it? Okay. Alright, so, oh yeah, because originally when you picked up Celestial, you got Light and Sacred Flame, which seem to be in here. Then at first level you got Cure Wounds and Guiding Bolt, and then at second level you got Flaming Sphere and Lesser Restoration, which are all in here. Then Daylight Revivify, Guardian of Fate, Wall of Fire, Flame Strike, Great Restoration. Sure. And then I'm assuming nothing changed here. Healing Light, you gain the ability to channel Celestial Energy to heal. So what changed? Oh, Celestial Resilience, which is this. Okay. So nothing changed for this. You have a pool of d6s that you can spend to fuel healing. It's 1 plus your Warlock level. Bonus action, heal 1 creature. Okay, so you're a healing Warlock. X6 level. You have resistance to radiant damage. Whenever you deal a spell that deals radiant or fire damage, add your charisma modifier to 1 radiant or fire damage roll of that spell against one of its. See, here's the thing. This is something I want to talk about. Right? For Radiant Soul, it very specifically says you have resistance to radiant damage, and when you cast a spell that deals radiant or fire damage, you can add your charisma modifier to 1 radiant or fire damage roll of that spell against one of its targets. Why is that important? Because for Agonizing Blast, it says you can add your spellcasting ability modifier to that spell's damage rolls. It doesn't say to one of that spell's damage rolls. Does this mean that if I take Firebolt at level 5 at some point, if I have Firebolt at level 5 and I cast it, that I can then add my bonus to all of its damage rolls, because there would technically be 2. You see why I need, like, clarification on some of this shit? Oh, that's Misty, sorry. Why I need clarification on some of this shit? Because this is specifically 1 damage roll against 1 target. And I know that they're saying damage rolls because they want to keep, like, Eldritch Blast the same way. But, you know. Don't get me wrong, Eldritch Blast is still a far better cantrip than Firebolt because you can split your damage. And because it's force damage over fire damage, and barely anything is resistant to force. I think a buddy of mine at one point said nothing is technically resistant to force damage. I don't think that's true because you can homebrew creatures. But fire is like the most used resistance in 5th edition. So, you know, Eldritch Blast is still better. But like, this is like something that I'd like them to specify. Like, is it 1 damage roll, or is it all of them on, like, Agonizing Blast? Because to be perfectly honest, Agonizing Blast on, like, a Firebolt would be way worse, would make it even worse at that point, right? Because you'd only get to deal the damage once. Actually, I know that I'm, like, doing this again, but, like, hold on. Does this apply to... Does this apply... Wait, does Radiant Soul apply to Green Flame Blade? So the first reaction I see, which to be fair is Reddit, which you can't be 100% sure of, but that means that this would work on Green Flame Blade, but then technically choose one of your known Warlock cantrips that deals damage. Is Green Flame Blade on the Warlock spell list? I think it is. Whoops. Warlock spells. I don't remember if it is. It might be, it might not be. Yeah, Green Flame Blade, Booming Blade. So then, would Agonizing Blast work on those? God, Green Flame Blade and Booming Blade break a lot of shit. I know that those cantrips are not going to be in base 5th edition, because fuck us, but like... It's an interesting question. Alright, the one feature that was changed. Woohoo! I don't even remember how it was changed. Works with Magical Cunning, sure. You gain temporary hit points whenever you use your Magical Cunning feature or finish a short rest or long rest. These temporary hit points equal... Oh, okay. Wait, really? That's the change? Really? So Celestial Radiance used to be you gain temporary hit points whenever you finish a short or long rest. Now it's whenever you finish a short or long rest, or when you use your Magical Cunning feature. Wait, hold on. This is... Like, people need to start proofreading this shit. Okay, additionally choose up to 5 creatures you can see at the end of the rest. Does this mean that this stuff only works if you short or long rest, or is Magical Cunning here treated as a rest? You see where I'm going with this? Like, Because this is not a rest, this is a feature, this is a minute break, so then technically this only applies on a short or long rest, right? I would assume. And then Searing Vengeance, the radiant energy you channel allows you to resist death. When you have to make a death save, instead spring to your feet with a burst of radiant energy. You regain hit points equal to half your hit point maximum. Really? Wow, that's a pretty decent feature. Level 14. Hey, I can get back half my hit points at the start of my turn. That's funky. So Celestial didn't change. Cool. I get the sense that they were almost not planning on putting Celestial into this bundle, and then they were like, oh, but we want to give Magical Cunning a couple more uses. Oh, you know what? We'll put it in Celestial. It's like, dude, come on.